Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mayo Agency podcast. It's Giovanni here, Philip, as usual, but the special guest today, Dushan, will be speaking to us today about buyer's trust. Yeah, exciting episode today. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and have Philip do a brief introduction, and then also we'll have Dushan do his brief introduction and roll into the today's topic. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Philip.
awesome. Thank you, Gio. Yeah, today's topic is very interesting. I won't be extending any kind of introduction from my end because we don't know who two of us are. But definitely, I would give a stage to our dear friend and business partner Dushan to give us a short and brief introduction about yourself, about your business, what you're doing, and we are starting with the topic. So please, Dushan, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. And I was actually really glad that you brought up this topic we're covering today, buyer's trust, because it's like always out there, but never covered by a lot of people who are in the e-commerce for a period of time, and it's really important for people to actually understand what's going on and the psychology of people and everything. But let me first just tell you where do I come from. I've been in the software business for about 14 years now, a little bit more, running the company Byte Out Software. And in recent years, we have a spinoff of that company, which is software development in e-commerce specifically. We actually founded a startup called OmniShop, which I lead today, which basically creates mobile shopping applications for online merchants within 5 days, so they can actually conquer the mobile channel and unlock their possibilities on the mobile. So to truly become mobile first brands. So coming from this and being in the e-commerce, we've seen a lot of things during the years. And as I said, this topic is never top of mind when you talk to people. It's mostly about products, technology, and everything, but never from the aspect of buyer trust. And it's really important because it's like, I'll just give a brief parallel. Like, it's just when you want to approach a girl or a guy, whatever, and they don't know you. So there are basically a few things you need to think about. It's like, do they have like a desire to be approached? Are you the right fit? And how do you present? Like, how do you build trust with somebody who doesn't know you, somebody who you just meet and you want to make a really good impression, right? So coming to that, like the 3 points which are really important in actually making the conversion and actually having that person who you just met, whether it's online or in person, it's basically the desire of that person to actually buy something that you are selling. If that is lacking, it's not going to happen. The second thing is the offer that you have. So if you have a really crappy offer, like, the person's out of there, like, no matter how good you are. And the third thing is actually the trust. So without the three, the conversions won't happen. You won't be able to reach those customers and make a long-lasting relationship with them, hopefully, right? So trust is probably the first thing that you need to think about all the time. And the way to do that is to have your mindset set that everybody who comes to your website doesn't know anything about you. It's really important to understand that, because even for people who are in the business for like 20, 30 years, who have sold like tens of thousands of products, they think their brand is like recognizable. The truth is, it's not. Many people who are your first time customers never heard about you, don't know what you're selling, don't have trust with you. So when you have that mindset and you're building your properties online, things get much easier, basically, right? And some of the things that you can do is work on your reputability and trust. And the way you do that in the online world is like you have many different ways of doing that. We can start with a couple. And that is provide evidence, like real world evidence to people, to your users, that you're the real deal, right? So how you can do that, and uh, you can use other people's references, right? So when people shop at your site, when people are satisfied, you can ask them for reviews, right? When you have reviews, like genuine reviews from real people, you can use that to your advantage. And this can also be taken very seriously, and it can be taken lightly. Like you can see many sites on different platforms like Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento. Like all of them have this functionality sort of built in. It's not really hard to enable comments and ratings and reviews, but just having them out there doesn't really do the trick, right? So you need to make the effort to take those reviews. You need to ask the customers to give you reviews, and you can actually give them a few talking points. It's like, are you satisfied with the product? Are you satisfied with the delivery, the service, the post-purchase experience, everything, right? And getting those reviews and putting it out there to be seen, which is really important. People don't do that. Like they're buried underneath like a clutter of other information, and it actually should be put out in the first place. You don't have to like show all the comments and then 2 minutes of scrolling, then you come to the product. Of course not. But you can basically choose one of the reviews, put it out there to be like representative of all the other reviews that you have, so people instantly know that you're the real deal. And the second thing is like, even if you have those reviews, how do people trust that they're not fake, right? I mean, even Amazon is having tremendous problems with like
big problem. Yeah.
There's like a whole team working on that. It's insane. So one of the things that you can actually do is use independent platforms who actually already have reputability as being platforms for comments and reviews, and use them. So it's much easier for you to actually get the user to leave a review. And also you don't have to explain that much that they are not fake. People already trust that. You can use products like, I don't know, Trustpilot would probably be a good solution for all of that. So if you do that, you're already like, at least 10 or 20% above the crowd, because they just don't do that. So making it visible and obvious to people is really important, just to recap that. And the way you go through the reviews and pick the ones that are the most useful for the customer is actually, because you need to make the effort, right? You need to read them and understand them. And the additional benefit is that you will actually understand your customers better. Even with bad reviews, if you get them, you can learn something from that, and basically respond maybe in the description of the product, maybe with fixing that and having other people basically review the updated versions. Like you can use all of that to your advantage. So basically go through all the reviews, understand what types of let's say issues or good things you're solving, right? And basically pick and choose one or two or three to represent each of the groups, and then try to push these reviews up and use them both like directly in the presentation of the product, and basically use them indirectly later on in the descriptions. Like nobody's basically stopping you from using multiple reviews. So this is one of the things, and they're quite important to do. And just another thing is like, people are sort of used to spotting fakes. So even if you don't have reviews in the beginning, and of course you're going to ask your friends and family to leave a few, try to ask them to be as genuine as they can, because these are the only ones that count. And people really respect genuine feedback, because ask yourselves, the last time you were trying to buy something, you were not sure if this is the real thing, if the site is reputable, you never bought there. Like, how did you go about reading those reviews? Because you probably spent some time traversing that and making sure you're your decision to buy is spot on, right? Because the thing is, like online versus offline, like, go to a store, you talk to a person, of course, you see their face. Here, you don't have that luxury, but still, you're investing some time in that store. And that person who's the salesman can read the signals. He can ask you questions. And here, you do not have that interaction most of the times, right? People, like, even if you have like a chat available there, most of the people won't be really using it if they don't find what they want, if they don't find the answers to their problems or worries or anything like that. So definitely need to think about that and be as genuine as you can, and talk about the problems that people are expecting to have. And those could be like, what is the time the order will arrive? Like, what if I don't like it? What is your return policy? So all of those are things you can put in very like high above, if you understand that your customers might be asking those questions. So you can put it quite high, and basically not have them to think and worry about these issues later on.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that, and of course, like, coming to the website should look as good as it can. It doesn't mean that you have to pay like, tens of thousands for the design. If you can, you should, of course, because people are very visual, and having a really good and very functional website helps a lot, right? Because it's like the first 3-second rule. Like, if you like something, it's very hard to change your opinion later, right? But even if that is not the case, at least try to make it as professional as you can. So make sure your links work. Make sure you have your information in the footer. Like, you're a real person, you're a real business. You stand behind your offer. You're not gonna run away with their money. So everything that we're talking about here is actually going in the direction of proving you're the real deal, right? You'll be taking care of your customers with utmost attention, and you'll be investing the energy. And once you do that, it's like everything is much easier. So basically, the website is like the window to your shop online. So you should invest in making it legit. And of course, it should be synchronized with your brand. So if your brand is, like, let's say, a little bit goofy, a little bit wacky, if you're very outgoing, and people come to your website and then they see something completely different, you being so stiff and like corporate like, because the developers or designers made it that way, like, people feel that something's not right. They instantly feel it, and this will like totally, this will not be good for your brand and for your customers. So that's like a small thing, but it's very important to have that in sync.
No, and Dushan, really quick on that point, I wanted to stop you on that point because I think it's important, especially that visual aspect, because it's sort of like when you first go, like, you're going back to the comparison you did in the beginning of like, you're going and meeting somebody, like going on a date. Let's think of it as like your client is going on a blind date. They don't know who you are. They've never seen you. You just showed up to the date and they never saw you before. So that first impression on a blind date is important. So I see the website as the blind date. It's your first shot. You got to take your best shot the first time. So I have personal experience. Some people might know this, some people not, but one of my first business ventures was an online store. I sold men's accessories. And that's one of my first experience in the e-commerce realm. I sold men's accessories, built out the website, ran Google ads, right? And then that's where I made my transition into marketing. But that first store taught me a lot. It was a great experience. And like you said, it helped me understand all those different points you're talking about building buyers' trust. I learned it personally through that store. So everything you're saying, I remember my experience with that store, which is, the photos matter. Like Dushan said, the details matter. Like the overall aesthetic of the website when they go and jump on. Because remember, in psychology, in terms of like behavior, client behavior, they're first looking at colors, then shapes, right, etc. And that all ends up becoming those first areas that they notice and what is going to be your brand or what is your brand. And then if they resonate with that and it makes sense to them, then that first step of building trust has been accomplished. And then they'll stay on it a little bit longer. And then the next step is, right, like your photos, the description. Does it make sense? Are you showing me a photo of a necklace, but then in the description, it sort of doesn't explain correctly what the necklace is about, or it tells me something different, or there's errors? All that influences in the buyer's trust, right? Like Dushan said. So that website, I think, for me was a crucial aspect. And I was surprised. Like, it was my first experience online. And when I made those first sales, it was like, for me, I was jumping for joy. I was like, wow, I did it. I was able to get somebody to trust in my store, and they made a purchase, and I was able to deliver. And that to me was such a great feeling that I was able to accomplish, that somebody trusted me enough and that my store was trustworthy enough for somebody to actually complete a purchase. But it takes all those things that you're talking about, Dushan, like you said, to get to that point of actually building somebody's trust. And then, like you said, as you grow it, there's more details in it. Like you said, like understanding the reviews, how to utilize reviews, right? Understanding how that's like a feedback loop as well. And those reviews will help you get better. And you'll get a lot of feedback to how, what things you can improve. So yeah, I just wanted to stop there and talk about that, because I personally had experience on the whole website aspect, and it is important. And it's one of those main aspects, because visually they don't know you. So the first things they're gonna see and base their trust off of is how trustworthy does this site look? Does it look like a cheap site that was made in a day and that doesn't really, right, see there was detail and attention and love put into it? Or is this something that somebody actually looked through, had a team or themselves looked through it, and they really went through every piece and they understood what it takes to, right, get that store to be as trustworthy as possible? And that's noticeable at the end of the day when you do it correctly, and that's going to translate into more sales. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and a lot of people I hear, like, they never get on a call with their clients or actually meet them in person. I don't know if you had any experience with that. It was like, I can just give you a short example of like one of the stores that they were like a side project of me and some friends. And we had this colleague of ours who was constantly going and delivering packages. It was like a health and beauty website, still alive and kicking. And I just remember one time he was talking to a client, and the client is disabled. And so he was actually calling to make sure that the delivery address was correct, because like he cannot go out and pick up the package in the post office, and his address was a little bit off. And so what our colleague did, he actually drove. It was close to the capital, close to Belgrade, maybe like 45 minutes to an hour drive, and he drove all the way there to deliver a package. And then he spent some time talking with the clients. So it was like going out of the way and actually understanding all your clients and meeting them goes a long way, right? And it's like working on things that don't scale. It's one of the most well-known blog posts. Everybody should read it if they can. But doing those things can really excel your business. And at the same time, if you're going out of your way to like meet and greet your customers, like, the word of mouth does work. Of course, it doesn't scale very fast, but it will give you the reputability that you have. And those are the stories that you can also use, when talking about your brand as well. So, yeah.
When educating, like you said, like, for example, that what they did, that's a great story right there. Like what they did with that customer, that's, like you said, a great opportunity to educate other customers on, this is what these are our values. This is what we're willing to do to make sure that our customers are satisfied and that everything goes as smooth as possible. But I think a lot of times, I don't know what you think, Dushan, but a lot of times companies do these things, but they don't highlight them. They sort of do them. And it's sort of like, it's a part of their culture, but they don't highlight them. So, and I think one of the biggest things in marketing and things that is overlooked is education. Like your customer doesn't know what they don't know, but the more you educate them, the more value, perceived value is added to you as a brand and to your product. And I think that's important. Like those moments are key moments to educate the customer on, hey, this is what we're about. This is how we value our clients, that we're willing to make a drive and deliver this package, even though it's just one. It's not a corporate order. It's not a big order, but we did what we had to do. And that's what I think is a differentiator between you and somebody else. Somebody sees that versus another store or brand that sells similar products. They're going to go with you because that story builds trust. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
I wanted to add on one thing, simply due to the experience you both mentioned. I have my e-com side gig for custom snooker cues and pool cues. And the point is, that is a specific type of product. If people already aren't able to drive specific product, a pool cue, etc., they need help and support. So quite often, and it's normal stuff, I provide telephone conversation, helping them and supporting them find the proper and optimal product for them in terms of shaft size and so many parameters which are important depending on the user game style, etc., etc. And that is what I wanted to mention as the extension to what Dusan said in terms of entire buyer trust. Quite often, there is a big difference between being reactive as a support and proactive. A lot of e-commerce businesses are being reactive, while those who are winning and which are better positioned and have higher level of trust from their audience are proactive. Through the conversation, telephone calls, the check for preferences, and that is very important. That is a part of entire customer journey and experience. So after you already made the first order, we all know what the experience is. If you are buying first time on some web shop, you are on needles. You're not sure, does the product will be dispatched to you? Will it be in the estimated time frame, which is mentioned in the shipping policy, etc., etc. So if you are being as a professional proactive about the communication, notifications, communication, you are winning the game. So you not only establish the buyer's trust and relationship on the first side, you are helping and supporting entire professional two-way communication and customer journey, which is highly important overall, combined surely with post-sale support in case of some damaged goods and whatever can happen, because especially for the physical products, those are regular cases and scenarios. So proactiveness in that respectable realm is extremely highly positioned in the value chain.
No, that's a great point, Philip. Yeah, go ahead, Dusan. I know you may have a few more points, and then I have like one or two questions to then close it out. But go ahead, yeah.
Perfect. No, I just love what Philip touched upon, because like building buyer's trust, it's just not like done on one page and you're done. It's like everywhere, literally everywhere. And as you said, like post-purchase communication is something that people mostly forget to do. Like making sure that everything is all right, is like, going out of your way and sending like, if you bought a plant, a certain plant, it's like, hey, here's a blog post that we wrote exactly about that plant, about how to take care of that. And let us know if you have any problems, and we'll try to navigate through how to get it back to life. Just an example of which I saw. So, things like those. And just another example, what happened to me is actually I ordered something on a website and I got a phone call. And the girl was saying, it was like, you bought this product, but we actually have like a special offer. So you can get this plus something else, which was also interesting. And it was cheaper than what I ordered. So like she was losing money plus spending time calling me. The effect it had on me the effect on building the trust and relationship with them, like that does not have a price, you know. So all of these small things really add up. So another thing I just wanted to touch upon is using the stories and being like consistent everywhere, and thinking about buyer trust. And it's about social media and all the networks that you have and all the places you present yourself. A lot of people use all the networks, even though they're not active, even though they're not posting there, they don't use it. So we found this to be quite annoying for people who actually like search for you and check for you on the networks that you like, link in. So if you put like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, everything, like you open up the accounts and the person will see all as like he's, let's say, a Facebook user, right? It's actually still a very viable network. Like if you want to be active, you should be active. There's a lot of people using it. Facebook is actually growing, it's not shrinking. Of course, Gen Zs are not there, but still, if you use Facebook, you should post it there. You should link to Facebook. If you're not, if a person clicks there, they're a Facebook user, goes to your page, sees that your mom is liking your page and nobody else, you have no posts, you gave no value there, they're just gonna laugh and leave.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, no, I just wanted to register a name so nobody takes it. Okay, but don't link it. It's that easy. It's such a small thing, and you can actually be using percentages of your customers solely on that insignificant detail, you might think, but no, it's not. It's about thinking from your user's perspective and thinking from every angle, testing everything you have. So like social media matters. Like people use it to check the reference and see if you're legit or not. So this is also something to keep in mind. And what we also discovered, and it actually has to do with what we do, is having like high tech solutions. And like when people see that your site is like packed with like high tech goodies, it also increases the chance that they will trust you. So if, for example, if you're selling sunglasses and you have the AR functionality built in, so you can try the models, they're like, these guys are not scammers. Like it's highly unlikely that they put in this effort to be scammers. And also what was very curious, like, because we create mobile applications, we always thought like, this is a really good thing for the customer because the experience is really nice. You can always reach single push notification. It's much faster and all of that. But never did we think about that, this builds trust with the customers because not a lot of people can afford having a mobile app. So if you're a scammer, if you're somebody who people should not be trusting, you're not going to go out of your way and build mobile applications. So this is something that increases your brand value and the trust from your customers as well. Right, from what we saw, it's like, oh, they're a big brand, they have mobile apps, we're not ready yet. It's like, no, you can actually do that, and it will help you like with the trust and awareness on your basic site, right? So this is also really important. And also in the advertisements that you use, think about trust. Think about like, will people be clicking on the ad? Are you communicating their trust? If you're sending emails, are you also thinking about that? Are you thinking on every single page of your website, like not only product, not only homepage, but are you thinking about that in the checkout? Are you thinking about that in the cart? Are you thinking about that in the thank you page? Like all of these places are an opportunity for you to come one step closer to your customer and build that trust, right? Of course, it makes the most sense to work on it on your homepage and on your product pages, somewhat on the category pages, but like, checkout, cart page, you should also be thinking about that there as well.
Wow, a lot of great insights there, Dusan. A lot of great insights, and I think that's a cool insight on the mobile app, right? How that could be a factor that could help you build trust, right?
We found that from a customer. It's so amazing.
Interesting. Yeah, I had not really thought about that specifically. I knew about its benefits as like a way to, for example, the way I thought about it is a mobile app is allowing you to create your own ecosystem well, you have full control over the customer experience, right? Versus having them search you every time, or even if, right, even if they bookmark you, etc., when you're online, they're still exposed to potential retargeting from competitors, right? In one way or another. Versus if you're in an app, it's very difficult. They're already within your ecosystem, and it's very difficult for them to be exposed to something else. But then that additional factor, like you said, is building that authority and that trust by having a mobile app. It sort of like confirms how serious you are as a brand, and trusting in your brand and building it out, because somebody, like you said, who creates a mobile app is really looking to increase their brand awareness and is taking their brand seriously by offering that option to their customers. So very, very, very interesting insights. I mean, great conversation. We could close it out now. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, Filip, and then we'll have Dusan have any closing thoughts, and then we'll close it out.
Yeah,
Filip?
we'll leave definitely space a little bit more for Dusan to close, because we cover a good chunk of topics, especially when we are talking about the buyer's trust overall. Surely the topic is very large, very extensive, but we have definitely a good outline. Dusan, please share a few more thoughts and maybe a conclusion.
All righty, we'll wrap it up for today. So the thing is, I hope that we inspired at least some of the e-commerce merchants to start thinking about that and to start testing, A/B testing their different layouts, different ways to present their products, to reach out to users to get their valuable feedback, and then hopefully use like a trusted platform to get those feedbacks, and then try to push them as further up the decision chain you can for your users. Just test if this makes sense to you. If everything that we said and all the advice that we gave today will make a slight improvement. And if you make smaller improvements each week, if you learn something new, your e-commerce shop will definitely see a huge increase in the end. You're going to become a huge brand if you always keep this growth mindset with you. And I know that you guys are constantly posting really valuable information, not only for e-commerce, which is sort of my domain, but a lot of other things. And thinking as a marketer really increases your chances of success. And as you said, Gio, as a marketer, you can see so many things, understand so many things. And if you don't put that hat on, it will just not happen.
Exactly. No, thank you, Dusan, and great insights, great points we've discussed today. So let us know in the comments what your thoughts are, right? How have you been building trust with your customers? If you're already right within the e-commerce sector, what points were some of your favorite from today's episode? Let us know in the comments, and yeah, we'd love to see it. Also, Dusan, let people know where can they find you.
Oh, okay. So I'm sort of trying to be active on LinkedIn, and also, so it's Dusan Popovic or Sean Popovic, and also on the omnishopapp.com website, which is our main website. You can find us there.
We'll have that in the description, by the way, for those listening. We'll have all of his information in the description, but we just wanted you to share so that way people are aware exactly where they can find you, and we'll have that in the description for everybody. Yep.
Awesome.
Great. Thank
Guys,
you, Dusan.
thank you so
much.
Yes.
We have some more topics for the future, but yeah, we'll prepare a dedicated sessions for that.
Yeah, definitely a great way to start. Buyer's trust. I think a great topic to start off with, especially like you said, Dusan, within the whole e-commerce sector, which is something that is not sort of the first thing that's talked about, but I think it's sort of understood indirectly. But like you said, a lot of people don't tackle it on directly so that people really understand the importance, right? They usually touch on what we've talked about a little bit, like the website and visual aspects and the reviews. Those are all things that are sometimes usually talked about, but that emphasis on why those things are important and how they correlate back to buyer's trust, that connection is not always made intentionally, and people aren't always obvious to why those things are so important, and how, like you said, you have to be continuously testing, continuously trying things out, really being intentional when you're building out that brand online. But yeah, great conversation, Dushan. Thank you again for being here with us. And that's it, everyone, for today's episode here on Mayo Agency Podcast. Thank you, Filip. Thank you, Dushan. See you guys on the next one.
You guys get ready for that blind date.
Yeah. Take care. See ya.
Bye-bye.
All the best.